Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and I do it all again. You know, in a TV show or movie where one of the main characters ends up talking to God, the creator of the universe, an angel, some incredibly powerful deity or something, and they have the opportunity to restart their life, do it over again, or change things for the better, for the worse. You know, that kind of concept, I think about that concept a lot. I think about that idea of if you had your time over again, would you do something differently? I used to talk about this with my grandparents quite a bit, and all four of them were pretty adamant that they really wouldn't change much. You know, there would be these small little regrets, these little things that they would change, that they would do differently. But typically it was like, oh, well, I wouldn't have said that embarrassing thing back in 1964. They really stand by their choices and what they did and how they lived their lives. Granted, you have to take it with a pinch of salt because they're talking to me, and if they changed anything radically, they can't admit to their grandson that they would do something differently and never have had kids or grandkids. So there's a little bit of bias there in, the person that they're talking to, but the way that they justify it and explain it sounds really reasonable to me. They loved their partner, they loved what they did with their lives. Sure, there were difficulties, there were heartbreaks, there were tragedies, there were, complications and awkward situations and all kinds of, life hit them full speed. But they all really stood by that choice and said, no, I really wouldn't do it all again. And I think, or I wouldn't really change anything is what I meant to say. And I do think about this concept a lot. If some being greater than us showed up at my doorstep and said, hey, do you want to take a crack at this again? I think I'd be inclined to say yes, but not for the reason you might think. I think I'd be inclined to say yes and say, yeah, I want to experience it all. But I really don't think I'd change much. I would love to experience it with fresh eyes, with the perspective I have now, go through the whole thing, see how it went, see where I ended up. Would I end up differently? Would things have really changed differently for me? I don't know. I think I have a confidence now that would have really helped back then, so maybe that would have changed my whole situation. But in general, I would just love to experience it all again, coming home from school and hanging out with my grandmother, going on family vacations, all of the different experiences that I've had through my life. I really wouldn't mind, just witnessing them again. Even just in a story mode or a movie mode, I think it'd be quite interesting to look back on it with that kind of perspective and to see it firsthand. Because I can remember quite a lot of what's gone on. I feel like I have a decent memory when it comes to what I've experienced. But I think it'd be really neat to see it firsthand and really get to the bottom of it, ask questions that maybe I didn't feel confident asking before. This whole concept that your life is a story. I think this concept is something that it's very near and dear to my heart. This idea that we go through different chapters and sometimes you're the villain, sometimes you're the hero, sometimes you're just a side character. And I just want to experience it. I truly enjoy where I'm at right now. I'm very content. I love my family. I love what I'm doing. I love connecting with you guys. I love everything about what I'm doing. And that's not to say that there aren't difficulties and anxieties and stresses and people get sick and there are all kinds of things in the universe and the world that make this life hard and make this life suffering. But I enjoy being a part of it. I enjoy being a part of this whole ridiculous, crazy show and this story. And given the chance to look at it all from a new perspective or even the same perspective and just getting to see it all again, I think would be really interesting. And it'd be just a crazy ride. You often see these things that our phones do now where they'll take your whole month and then throw it into kind of like a story with music. And I've never asked my phone to do this, but it just sometimes creates this little compilation of this is what you did this month. And how interesting would it be to get that for your entire life, to have it, lovely filmed, good lighting, good editing, have some good key grips and have it produced like a movie, produced like some blockbuster hit, and it is the story of your life. I don't know if any of you have watched Boyhood, but essentially Boyhood is kind of the same idea. It's following this boy's life from very early, from birth all the way into like adulthood, and the progression and what we experience. And that movie had a big impact on me because it was so interesting to see how our lives sort of flow down the river and twist and turn and change, and sometimes it's blocked and sometimes it's blown up, and there is so many intricacies to how we live our lives. So I think, given the chance, yes, I would do it all again, but I wouldn't be doing it as a way of righting the wrongs or changing the problems. It would more be for appreciating a cup of tea with my grandparents, chatting with my dad at a specific age, or experiencing first love and all of the things that you sort of get to experience. The first time I had sushi, I hated sushi and just told myself I didn't like sushi until I was like 18 years old. Turns out it's my absolute favorite thing on the planet. And, I would love to experience that first time once again and go, oh my gosh, I love this stuff. Why have I been telling everyone that I don't like it? So I think that's kind of the beauty of this life, is that, it is suffering, it is hard, it is a slog, it is full of anxieties and difficulties, but it's yours, and getting to shape it the way you want and see it as this unwinding story that is yours. You can believe philosophically in free will. You can believe in like a predestined future where we don't have control, like we're destined to do the things that we do. Either way, I think it would be incredibly interesting to experience everything again, and just to go through the whole story and see where you end up, see if it ends up differently, see if your free will plays a role, see if your destiny just ends up forcing you to meet the people that you were always meant to meet. I think of the friends I have in my life and how they came into my life, and some of the ways that I came into them were literally just conversations on the side of the road, or you sit next to somebody in class. The way that these people enter your life usually seems so random, but I'd love to know if it was kind of a destined thing, that no matter how many times you re-roll the tape, you will always end up running into this ridiculous human being who ends up making your life so much better. And that can go for your family and your friends and your relationships, your loved ones, your partners. I'm curious. I'm so interested in the way this world works, and getting that extra time to look at everything would be so neat. And of course, this is all theoretical, unless some like guru magic person watches this video and goes, oh, okay, this is what you're going to experience now. So, sign me up. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. And I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on this, because am I the only one that thinks this way? Maybe this is just my ADD, anxiety-riddled brain overthinking, but I feel like it's a concept that's well enough in our society to make movies about and to sort of have a mythology around. So I don't know. Anyway, I hope this was interesting. I hope this gives you pause for thought about your life and the little twists and turns that it has taken throughout, your entire existence. Let me know what you think. Would you do it again? What would you do differently? Would you do anything differently? Would you just watch it like me? Hope you're having a great day, week, month, year, century, millennium, epoch, era. And as always, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow.